You haven't had any experience until I've had it too.
When I think of you, I ponder all the things all that we could do.
Hello and welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast, a podcast where three men drink beers and gripe about horror movies.
I wanna sell my car off and I'll take the bus and tell 100 strangers
We'll use these.
love us and your brand new bus. It's just you and
Cool
me. How I wish we
from
was
the
out
dark.
joined together at the hip, walking down the Sunset Strip. It's just you and me, you and me.
Just so everyone's aware, there will be spoilers and plenty of nasty, nasty language.
This is you and me, how I wish we was happy, joined together.
You mean to say there's two of them? They're twins, dear.
You and me.
I do not sound like a fat black man.
Alright.
Yeah, there you go. Hello. Welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast.
What was that?
John,
Cobra?
and this week we're doing Dead Ringers, another David Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
I was gonna say classic, but
It was alright.
I really like the acting. I'll give it that. I think Jeremy Irons is maybe the best acting I've seen on this show. I'm gonna go that far.
On this show?
On this show,
Really?
I think so. What do you think's better? Who do you think acted better?
Oh, Kurt Russell in The Thing.
He acted like a stereotypical 80s hero, and he was one-dimensional.
He's versatile. He wore a cowboy hat
He's
sideways.
Yeah. He had it front ways, sideways. Jeremy Irons plays two different people in this movie.
He plays the same person.
He plays two different people because one is kind of an introvert. One is very much the opposite of an introvert, an extrovert. One's named Beverly, one's named Elliot. They're twins, and the beginning of the movie starts out with them trying to have sex with like an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Whose
Like, let's go
response is pretty good. She's like, "Fuck you guys! I'm gonna tell on you for talking dirty." I'm like, "Yeah, you're one to talk."
Yeah, no shit. Fuck. I heard fuck from a kid.
These two go to school together.
Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Yeah, this is where I get a little bit confused. Did they both graduate?
Yeah, I think. I think they dual designed that vagina kleptic, I'll
Yeah.
spread your leg thing. What is that? It's like a vagina tool.
I'm not a gynecologist.
They win an award for
anything
this tool.
Yeah, anything in this movie that has to do with vaginas, I don't understand.
Let me tell you something about what a vagina looks like.
Please elaborate.
It looks like a cheeseburger sideways if they're doing like the doggy style.
It's very specific.
Yeah. But that's what you want. A sideways cheeseburger.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know how to stick a tool. No, that's not right. I don't know how to stick a medical tool.
What I hear, it's like a shoehorn.
Okay.
They take two shoehorns and slide you apart.
Yeah, there's scenes where they're like doing their shit.
But they have like a tool that's like a crank. It's like real fancy. Maybe it
they have
feels
like
better.
designs and all this shit, and I am lost.
They win an award, something, the Vagina Tool of the Year in 1967 or something.
How many vagina tools are there?
This had to be the first or second
Is there
one.
a vagina tool committee? What the hell is going on here?
Doesn't matter, they won.
But from what I can gather, one of them is like really good at this, and one of them just kind of handles the business part of it. He doesn't really do the actual medical work, and nobody can tell them apart, so nobody knows who's doing what.
See, I thought that at one point, but then I thought it was just because later on he starts fucking up real bad because of the drugs.
There's another scene though where like he asked how his patient is doing because he was supposed to be the one doing that.
Yeah.
So maybe like they both can do it, and if one of them feels like not doing it, he just sends the other one.
Flip flop.
And nobody cares because
they do say that they swap lives quite a bit throughout the movie.
That's when they meet this girl Claire.
She has a 3-chambered vagina,
Which apparently is something.
That's gotta be amazing. What does that mean?
They're stunned by it.
Let me tell you.
It means she can't have kids.
I have one penis. I only need one chamber.
Would it be like having a third ball?
I don't know. It's gotta be rare.
Could you rest your vagina like a tripod?
Could you? No, what would be?
What the
no
hell?
good to that.
I don't understand.
There's no
Well,
good.
there's definitely not because she can't have a kid, and it's just fucking
Can't
her
she
up.
have a kid? I thought maybe
She
that
says
she
she
could,
can't.
and then maybe the guy was just like,
No.
totally.
One of them said that she might be able to in order to sleep with her.
Yeah.
And then the other one who wanted
Said
to
she
date
couldn't.
her was like, "You absolutely cannot." And he's pretty mad because his brother told him that.
Is that why?
She could.
I thought maybe he was still lying, though.
I'm not sure. Boy, this movie is confusing now that I'm trying to recall it. Like, half the time I don't know which one's which,
I
which
don't
is like
either.
everybody
It's
else.
tough.
The only way you can tell is that, like,
One's mopier.
yeah, I'm trying to think of
Beverly's mopier.
Beverly's the mopey one,
Yeah.
and Elliot's the outgoing one.
Elliot fucked the 3-vagina girl first, and then Beverly, he
Because
threw her to
she
Beverly
wasn't
because she
very
wasn't a
good.
good fuck.
Yeah.
Threw her to his brother
Oh,
Beverly, who's the
I
shy
laughed
guy,
and laughed.
wanted to date her, and then later on in the movie, he brings her to dinner, and he's like, I threw you to my brother because you weren't fucking
Beverly
very good in
doesn't
bed.
know what's going on, but she thinks that he's schizophrenic because, the two of them obviously act extremely different. And then her mother or friend or somebody mentions
hinted
to
her in, yeah.
And so she demands they have dinner together, and
She didn't know they were twins, didn't know anything about them.
right. And when she finds out, she's upset. And I thought that was the end of her. I thought she was not coming back, and I thought this was going to go somewhere else. Like they were going to be mad at each other and like sabotage each other. No, this movie just keeps going in the same vein. And
It gets slow and depressing here in the middle of the film.
Things get really. And that's why I thought that he did such a good job, because he's playing both an outgoing, happy-go-lucky, I don't give a fuck guy, and a really depressed, really sad, drug-addicted guy.
He doesn't become drug addicted until he meets and hangs out with this actress.
She
though.
ruins his life. She
What does he
absolutely
become
ruins his
hooked?
life.
What is it?
Speed, I think.
Can we call it pixie
Meth
dust?
or something? And she's taking it, and he's like, I'll prescribe it for you. And then he just starts taking it, and she stops taking it. And then he just keeps going.
He keeps going.
She's
and
an
his life
actress.
just spirals.
And she goes away for a little bit to do a job. And he calls her one day while on these drugs, and her assistant picks up.
Clearly a gay guy.
Yeah, it's a gay guy.
You can tell by the way he's talking on the phone.
Yeah, and he's
like, hey.
And the guy's like, and Beverly thinks that she's cheating on him somehow with this guy. And so he goes even more into just a mess. Just starts
This is where he
these
starts.
drugs.
His brother wants him to fill in for him, I think, and he goes to this exam with his tool, and he starts using it, and the woman's like, that's hurting or something, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah. He goes in and he's like, she goes, that hurts. And he goes, what did you have sex with? And because one time I had a patient who had sex with a dog.
Yeah. But doesn't she start bleeding or something?
She has something actually physically wrong with her, but apparently he has like a breakthrough when he's messing with her vagina. He thinks that all these vaginas are coming in messed up, not just the 3-walled one or whatever it is, but he thinks that hers is messed up, so he decides he needs to create this new tool to deal with these mutant vaginas.
Oh, I forgot. Doesn't he steal something, though, from, like, the museum at one point, too?
Okay, yeah,
The toy.
he does.
Just like this.
He's designing this thing, and he's telling his brother, who's still sane and not doing anything. He's like, listen, there are mutant vaginas out there. It's not just one. There's a bunch. And he's like, dude, quit it. Just stop.
Have you ever seen a mutant vagina?
No.
No, I haven't either.
I can't imagine what he thinks he's seeing, but he goes to this guy.
Probably Roseanne's vagina.
He goes to the main character from Scanners and asks this guy to create he has these designs for a new tool. He doesn't tell him what it's for, that he can use to deal with these mutated vaginas, and the guy builds it for him. And then he goes to a surgery all hopped up on shit, and pulls out all these fucking, like, medieval-looking hooks.
Oh my god!
Now, I'm sure you know this.
It looks like what you would use to take down a whale.
Yeah, I'm sure you know this. All testicles on Earth, all of them, have a psychic connection. Because when you see somebody get hit in the nuts, you feel a little bit of that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't think I have that kind of connection, but just thinking about somebody jamming this shit into a vagina made me so uncomfortable. I was just like, I can't. Please don't do it. Please don't. And he manages to get one of the tools started in there before they pull him away. And he almost kills this woman. And the thing is, everybody there thought that he was
his brother.
So his brother is now, like, revoked of his license.
On the shit list, yeah.
And he's like, he's trying to explain himself. He's like, I'm really stressed out. I've been running myself ragged. And they're like, we don't care. You're fired. At the same time, he's trying to like help his brother out and get him, to stop doing the drugs. But then he starts doing them.
In the whole movie, they reference these Asian Siamese, the first Siamese twins, I think, from Asia, how they tried to get apart and something happened, right?
Oh, there's a scene earlier in the movie where he dreams that he's surgically attached to his brother or something.
Yeah, so they're like, even though they're
weird.
separated, they still are like sharing kind of some of the stuff that's going on.
They're the same person. You were right early on when you said they're the same person, because eventually at the end they are.
They are, yes.
There's also a really awkward scene where they both try to have sex with the same woman before he finally passes out and collapses. That's so fucking weird.
That is weird.
Claire calls and is heading back and talks to Beverly, and Beverly is like, why'd you cheat on me? And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's my agent, I'll be home soon, So she gets home, and he's like locked in his room, so he can't do anything. But once he gets out, he just gets right back on the fucking horse, starts doing more drugs. This woman, I don't know if this is the point of the movie, this might be somewhat of a misogynist movie or something. It seems to really hate women. Like, there's mutated vaginas, this woman kills 2 men, basically, by just existing.
That's not her fault.
I know it's not her fault, but she does give him more drugs when he asks for them.
Well, that's not her fault. Yeah, it is her fault.
Take him to take
She
him to
got him
detox.
hooked on him first.
Yeah.
Doesn't he collapse at one time and get to the hospital?
Yeah.
That's before she shows up, right?
Yeah,
and his
that
brother's
was early.
like,
His brother tries to take
"We're-"
care of him, yeah. Beverly and
Elliot
get back together and start
doing
drugs
together. Yeah.
I don't know how that happens.
They're hooked on it because Elliot said, I think he was like, you know what, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do it too and see what it's like and like why.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, there's no hope for me anyway, so I'm going to end up going down that road. So they start doing the drugs together, and then they come up with this idea while they're on the drugs. It makes no sense. They're like, we're gonna separate each other, so he just basically stabs him with a knife and cuts him open.
And who ends up living?
I think Beverly lives.
That's what I thought.
Because Elliot's like, oh wait, give me the pain reliever, and he's like, oh, I almost forgot.
Whoops.
Even though I'm planning on ripping you to shreds.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad. The movie's so
It is
sad.
sad. It's not really a horror movie.
No.
It's like a drama thriller.
And Cronenberg started heading more that direction. He left his like technology invading the human flesh and went more towards like just tragic figures as he went further and further in. Like later he did a movie called Spider. The guy was like mute pretty much. He would just mutter to himself. It was like really sad. I don't know why he went that direction. But I really like this movie. I really like the acting, but I think you're right. This isn't really horror. There's bits and pieces that are a little disturbing, but not.
But overall,
not
no.
really
It's a
horror.
good movie,
Yeah.
but it's not a horror movie.
You want a horror movie that deals with the genitalia? Watch Antichrist. You'll be pretty sick. Lots of penis bashing with blocks and vagina ripping. Ugh.
Sounds awful.
William Dafoe.
That still sounds awful.
Doesn't help. All right, so what do you give this one?
I give this one a 7. I like this one second. I put it right in the middle. I think all of his movies were right around a 7. They're all good. Some were slightly better, but this one had a good story. And like you said, Jeremy Irons was good in it, playing 2 roles. One guy hooked on shit, one guy not, fun going. But for a horror movie, it just didn't have the horror elements there. But for a good movie, I would recommend watching it. It's good. But it's not a horror movie by any means, so I give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm in the same kind of area there. It's tough because this is a horror podcast. If this wasn't a horror podcast, I'd give it a much higher rating because it's a damn good movie. I'd probably give it like an 8, maybe.
Maybe give it a 10, Cemetery Man.
No, I'm not doing that.
I might refer. Can I call you the Cemetery Man from now on?
Oh,
the
that's
show?
fine. That's fine. Trust me, you guys aren't missing anything by not having that episode. Trust me. As a horror movie, I gotta give it like a 6. I have to. But with the caveat that this is an excellent movie. Well worth the watch. Just not if you're really looking for Cronenberg's really scary, messed up stuff. It's very uncomfortable, but it's not... I don't know if it's not horror, it's just really light horror. It's horror light. So yeah, I'll give it a...
I mean, there's more action than Blair Witch, but...
Piss off. I'll give it a 6. Jeremy Irons is outstanding. Definitely... His acting range is fantastic, and once again,
the neighbors are
my
lewd.
neighbors are killing
Is
each
someone
other.
mowing?
No,
Are
my
we-
wife is vacuuming right now.
Okay. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Is it Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
She's gonna be happy. We got done in a decent time tonight.
It ain't bad.
We got 3 movies done in an hour. You're only gonna hear this one, but trust me, we did 3 of them. Like what you heard? You can find the show now on Stitcher.com. You can also find us on iTunes and Podomatic. Like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/horrorcasting. Follow us on Twitter @horrorcasting. And email the show, horrorcastings, with an S, @gmail.com. We'll have other stuff for you. We're going to have bonus episodes here and there. This might even be a bonus episode. Ooh.
But they won't know that.
All right. Catch you later.